現実はなんとなくスーパーな私たちの日常走り出した Stay as fortune.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Pull the Trigger on a podcast. The podcast where, God, I hope we're not in a harem anime. Please don't let it be. I'm Fire Princess Lily, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend, Doc Sea Monster. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Fine. Things are finally settling down back to normal in Houston. We've been having water pressure problems the past couple days. I don't know if that's related to the storm or not.
I mean, maybe.
Because it was fine for like 3 days, but then it went crappy.
Wow. That's not good.
No, and it's the weekend, so I can't like call the water company
Right,
to ask them
right.
if what the deal is.
What else is up?
Let's see. Not a. Worked a little bit on personal projects. I'm back at work. My work's back to in person from the couple weeks it was shut down because of the storm.
Right.
But I was back at work. I was back at work on Wednesday, so Wednesday and Friday back at work. Messed around with my magic decks. That's about it. It's a pretty uneventful week.
Oh.
Like I said, we're still mostly shaking off from the storm.
Right, right.
Like getting back to normalcy.
Right, of course.
How about you?
Well, just doing all that stuff that I normally do. The only thing kind of out of the only thing kind of out of the ordinary for me this week, and I guess really the rest of the world, is it's Pokemon Week, or it was Pokemon Week. By the time I think people hear this, Pokemon Week will be over. Like today's the last day. They're finishing up with a Post Malone concert, which is odd, but okay. You do you.
Well, they have the same initials.
Huh?
They have the same initials.
Oh, yeah, I guess. That makes sense. I don't. No, I know. No. No, it's fine. Post Malone's popular. I hear he's a real nice guy. He looks like you could smell him from 500 feet away, though. Every time I see a picture of Post Malone, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know how this guy smells. And it's not great.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I hear he's a very, very nice guy. So,
I haven't listened to a ton of songs. I liked Sunflower, though.
Oh, Sunflower's great.
And Circles is pretty good. I like Circles.
Yeah. But I only know Sunflower because of, Into the Spider-Verse. The best Spider-Man movie ever created. I'll stand by that.
I can't rightly disagree. As much as I love the I loved the Sam Raimi movies when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Andrew Garfield. I like the first one. We talked about that a little bit. I just didn't really care for the second one.
Yeah.
But I like the first one a lot. And the Tom Holland movies are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not really like even the Spider-Man movies that aren't that good aren't really like bad.
I don't know. I still think Spider-Man 3
Three's pretty bad.
Sam Raimi is really bad.
But Spider-Verse is still like leagues beyond.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Um, but yeah, Pokemon Week, where they just announced 3 new Pokemon games. Well, one of them we already knew about for sure, which was Pokemon Snap. We just got more footage of Snap looking good. Really liking it. Cannot wait to play it. Which I think is coming out next month or the month after.
I heard it was the end of April.
Yeah, something like that. You know, time is all jacked up. I mean, we're basically at the end of February anyway, so.
Yeah. So from the date of recording this podcast, about 2 months.
Yeah, about. Let's take a look. Then we got the announcement. Oh yeah, April 30th is when that coming out. We got the announcement of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl being remade. Like, probably literally, it's probably just like a straight 1-to-1 remake, which, you know what? Fine. I will pay for that because I really like Diamond and Pearl. And people think that's a bad idea on my part because they're like, why would you pay for... Because I love Diamond and Pearl. Shut up. Love the Sinnoh region.
I did like Diamond and Pearl.
So, yeah. Nice. I mean, you know, so that's one of my favorite Pokemons. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not big on the chibi style. But at the same time, I feel like Game Freak is like, hey, we're going to have this other company work on these remakes with this style and whatever. We're going to work on the big news, which was Pokemon Legends, which is still Sinnoh.
I'm fine with the this chibi style because I grew up playing sprite games until I don't know, early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean it's not unknown, like, you know.
Yeah, it's not weird to me.
It's not necessarily weird. I was just like hoping for Sword and Shield, more or less. Like that level of like Avatar and world. But I don't want them working on 2 separate games of big scale. I think that would be bad.
Pokemon Legends looks good.
Pokemon Legends looks incredible. It's going to be an open world action RPG Pokemon game. It's exactly what you've been asking for not I don't mean like you specifically. I meant you just in the general, like the listener sense.
I hope it's got more normal mechanics and isn't like Let's Go with like the mass catching.
Like, there are still battles. You can catch Pokemon from outside of battle, but you can also battle them to weaken them to catch them.
Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Like, both forms of catch were in the trailer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Did you watch the trailer?
I might have only seen a clip of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if I've seen the whole or not because I didn't catch the direct. I was busy. I didn't watch the direct.
Right.
But I caught like a recap of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might have only seen like abridged trailers.
Fair enough. It looks good. Looks great. It's taking place in quote unquote ancient Sinnoh. Even though our protagonists still look like Lucas and Dawn. They're just like Ninja Lucas and Ninja Dawn. I don't get why.
Okay, but if this is ancient Sinnoh, is this back when people were still marrying Pokemon?
You know, I'm not gonna ask too many questions like that. But maybe. Like, yeah.
No judgment, but like, is that gonna be a thing?
I don't imagine we'll be watching people marrying Pokemon. No. Was that happening at the time of this game? Who knows? Will it come up in the game? Most assuredly not. Probably not. I want to say 95% sure that that'll not happen in the game. Because the premise of the game is you're making the first ever Sinnoh Pokedex. Like
Nice.
for first ever, never been done before. Um, so that'll be interesting. People think I'm crazy because I'm seeing a rice ihorn, an ice rhyhorn. Sheesh. Um, because Rhyhorn in this trailer is Pokemon Ice Blue. Like most
Uh,
ice Pokemon in the Pokemon franchise have that blue coloring.
I think it would be cool if there were some like some ancient like extinct subspecies of Pokemon in Legends. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be super neat. Be,
Or if they introduced Sinnoh species,
yeah,
Sinnoh forms for both Legends and the remakes.
I don't know that they're gonna do
That'd
that
be
for the
super cool.
remakes, but that'd be super cool.
But that would be super cool.
That would be super cool. Um, but yeah, everybody thinks I'm crazy. They're like, no, it's just like a low model, and like that's why you're getting confused. But I'm not. I'm not confused at all. Because Rhyhorn, the very first Pokemon ever created by the Pokemon Company, first designed, first programmed. They know how to make a goddamn Rhyhorn. They're not, they're experts on it. And for them to get, like, people say it's not the wrong model, but that head is too round. That head plate is too round. I've seen that head plate a million times. Rhyhorn is one of the most caught Pokemon that I've ever caught in Pokemon Go, so I've seen its 3D model a lot. A lot. There's not a lot of change between Go, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield on what Rhyhorn looks like. And that head is too round. Also the coloring. Like, you look at it from every angle, it's the same ice blue. That is an ice Rhyhorn. I have a 100% batting average on guessing variant Pokemon when I'm not just like given this is what it is, because I'm good at context clues. Great example, Galarian Slowpoke, Slowbro, and Slowking. We were given just Slowpoke, a water and psychic type. People were like, oh, I wonder what Slowpoke and Slowbro and Slowking are going to evolve into. I was like, it's psychic poison. It's going to be psychic poison. And they're like, what? Why do you think so? I was like, well, they're introducing not only this new variant form, they're also releasing Clara and Avery at the exact same time. One being a poison user, one being a psychic user. I'm telling you, it's psychic poison. And then we saw like an arm of Galarian Slowking, and it was all purple and shit. And I was like, see, look, boom, poison right there. And people were like, I don't know. But you know what it was? Do you know what it was, dear listener? It's psychic poison. How did I know? Because I'm amazing. Also, it's just context clues. You just gotta look for them. So I'm 100% that I'm right, and if I'm not, people can like play this back to me about how confident I was, and I'll eat crow. I'm fine. I'm cool, but I'm not wrong, so I won't have to eat crow. Boom. The other theory is that it's like a different rock type, like instead of like granite or slate, which is in Kanto, it's like just like a different like rock variation, which I don't agree with. Sorry. That was some smug time, and I cut you off. What's up?
Let's see what else. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. It's like my main. I have two criteria for judging a Pokemon game. One, can I get a Gyarados? Two, if are there other cool Pokemon in it? If the answer is yes to both, I'm good. If the answer is yes to only one, I'm probably still gonna have a good time.
I'm gonna say that the answer is yes to both.
Yeah, because there's only one Pokemon game where you can't get Gyarados in it.
What game is that?
Black and White. Before you get the National Dex.
See, Black and White is that one Pokemon that I haven't actually finished because I was homeless when it came out. And so sure. I've tried playing ROMs. I just get busy, and I've never finished Black and White. So,
I like Black and White. They were.
I hear they're very good.
They were the best Pokemon games that were out until Sun and Moon.
I mean, I don't know that they're better than Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. I mean, I'm not gonna get crazy here.
Okay, I really did like Generation 4. Diamond Pearl, both good.
Mm-hmm.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver, excellent. I love Soul Silver. It's one of my favorite Pokemon games I ever played.
Right.
Black and White was really good. Because it took full advantage of the streamlined Pokedex that we would later see again in Sword and Shield. But having all original Pokemon and new abilities and stuff to learn, the Dream World integration was fun. We can't do that anymore, but that part was fun. That was a fun part of the game. It was a nice world to explore. There were fun mechanics. And it was the first generation that introduced reusable TMs, which was like a revolution in terms of gameplay. Like, it's been a while since I played it, so I can't like list specific things as well at the moment.
Right.
But reusable TMs that was like one of the biggest improvements to the game series.
Oh yeah, that was a big quality of life improvement.
Yeah, and we didn't get another improvement like that until Sun and Moon did the rideable Pokemon.
Yeah, which good on them.
So you didn't have to do field moves anymore.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really care for X and Y. I didn't hate my time playing Y.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine, but I didn't really like it. And I didn't really like fairy Pokemon when they first came out because they're strong against two of my favorite types, and I could never tell what was and wasn't a fairy Pokemon, or what kind of attacks to use against them. Because I kept thinking Flabebe was a fucking grass type.
It looks like one, so you're not necessarily wrong for having thought that.
And there was not a lot of steel and poison type Pokemon in X and Y. I didn't really like the mass encounter mechanic either that much.
That was a weird encounter.
It was weird.
Definitely hard to keep the one Pokemon you wanted to catch alive.
Yeah, that was weird.
But, yeah, no, I'm never worried about like, what works against what, because I have like a living Pokedex in my head. So it's never like an issue for me.
Let's see what else is going on. Did you see the Mortal Kombat trailer?
Yes.
I'm really excited because it stars an actor I'm very, very fond of.
Oh.
Louis Tan. I don't know if you've seen Iron Fist, but the best part of Iron Fist was one fight in one episode.
But go on.
There was one good part of Iron Fist. It's one fight in one episode.
Are you talking about the episode the fight he has in China with the one guy?
The drunken boxer, yes. The guy who used drunken boxing?
Sorry, it's been a while since I watched Iron Fist, and it was not that good.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't. I didn't hate the show, but it really only had one good part that had any kind of standout quality, especially compared to the other series in the sub franchise of the Defenders. And it was the fight between Iron Fist and the drunken boxer.
I see.
the one fight with the guy in China. Anyway, I really did enjoy that. I thought that the guy was really fun. Was really fun to watch fighting, and he had great charisma as a performer. It's like I've been very fond of him as an actor since then. He's only had pretty sparse roles. Mm-hmm. Like he had a cameo in Deadpool 2. He was one of the mutants that died.
Oh.
But he is like the main character of Mortal Kombat, and I am super looking forward to this because he is a great martial artist. Mm-hmm. He's a super charismatic performer, and he is hot. Louis Tan is hot.
And who is he playing?
I don't know Mortal Kombat characters that much. I've never actually played a Mortal Kombat.
What does this character do in the trailer? I could probably figure it out.
Let's see, he
because that means he's probably not playing Scorpion or Sub-Zero because those are way too iconic for even somebody who hasn't played a Mortal Kombat to not know them.
Cole Young.
Oh, he's the character that nobody knows who he is.
So he's going to be like a descendant of somebody, or
he's just like an all-new character. He's already facing an uphill battle for me because I don't like it when movies introduce like characters that don't exist in the universe. Hate that a lot. It's like, this guy's our hero. Who is he? Why isn't it Liu Kang? I guess to establish themselves differently from the first set of movies, but could have been Kung Long. Anyway, could have been Johnny Cage.
Let's see. Someone else is playing Liu Kang. Yeah. Oh, it's the guy who played Zack in the Power Rangers reboot movie. He was great.
Oh, cool. I didn't see
he was a lot of fun. Like, I'm glad people from that movie are getting roles because I like that movie and I like the cast.
Fair enough.
But it's a shame that it kind of died.
Just too many changes.
I think that the main thing was the suit designs were kind of off, and the mecha designs were off.
The mecha designs were off.
And I think
Goldar was off.
Yeah, I think that they. I think because like the story was fine and the performances were fine. I think people didn't connect with the aesthetics.
Yeah.
They tried. They went with like alien creature based mechs instead of like actual dinosaur based mechs.
What?
Yeah, like everything looked too alien. It didn't look enough like Power Rangers. It felt like Power Rangers. Like it felt like the characters felt like teenagers' attitude.
Yeah.
I think it maybe could have used maybe a little bit of a streamlining of the plot and a better aesthetic for like suits and mechs and stuff.
Or if they wanted to go with that aesthetic, they probably should have not, said it was based off a Mighty Morphin. Probably should have just tried to do like their own thing. Mighty Morphin's super recognizable, and if you muck around with like the designs and stuff, it's gonna backfire on you.
Elizabeth Banks was having the time of her life.
Well, that's good.
As Greta, she was chewing scenery and having a fantastic time.
That's great. Very, very happy for her.
It's always fun to see someone who's enjoying being a villain.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Power Rangers now belongs to Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
And
has for a while, hasn't it?
A couple years.
Okay.
Hasbro now owns Power Rangers. At least the English or the rights to Power the 2018. Yeah. They own the IP and the toy rights. Which should be cool. Hasbro is a company that usually knows what to do with its IP.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly more recent years. Like, I think that they realized that the way they sold off the GI Joe and Transformers franchises without as much creative control on their end didn't quite work out. Which is why like Bumblebee was a lot better. Did you see Bumblebee?
Yeah, Bumblebee was good in
Bumblebee
comparison to
was a
the
lot
other
better.
movies.
Yeah, had a lot more heart, and the robots had more distinct designs.
Mm.
It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better than the old ones.
It was a horse girl movie.
Yeah, it's a horse girl movie. It's really hard to go wrong with a kid and their ex as a plotline.
Yeah.
For a piece of media, as long as you have like a believable relationship between like the human protagonist and the supernatural creature or alien or robot or whatever, it's really hard to mess that up. You can, don't get me wrong, you can fuck that up, but like it's such a basic plot that it's easy to pull off.
Yeah. Very cool.
It's like making a Caesar salad.
Right.
It's hard to mess up a Caesar salad.
It's
you know,
and
Caesar salads are good.
Cheese.
What?
Isn't it just lettuce and cheese? Like a certain kind of cheese, certain kind of lettuce.
Well, I mean, Caesar dressing has a specific recipe, but most of the time people make it. People buy it pre-made, so it's like romaine, Caesar dressing, Parmesan cheese, and croutons.
Yeah, I don't get the dressing or the croutons. Blech.
So you just eat lettuce and cheese?
Yeah. I don't eat a lot of salad to begin with.
That's fair.
I don't like it. But when I do, I know I don't like croutons, and I know I don't need the dressing.
How do you not like croutons? It's
I
like
don't like stale bread.
What?
I don't like stale bread.
Okay.
That's what croutons are.
Well, they're toasted.
Overly so.
They're crunchy. It's like little crunchy bits of garlic toast.
Ugh. Just give me garlic toast.
Okay. Let's see. I have a funny story.
Okay.
I was at a friend's house yesterday, and they were making tacos. And they cooked the ground beef, but when they were getting ready to add the spices, they realized that they didn't buy any taco seasoning at the store that day.
Mm-hmm. So use cumin. And
fortunately, I was there, and I quickly rattled off a list of the spices they need to make their ground beef taste like taco meat, which is black pepper, onion, garlic, cumin, and parsley.
Mm-hmm.
And just basically add those to taste, and a little bit of salt, and you've got taco meat. They said it was better than they liked it better than from the mix.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you use fresh seasonings, it's always going to be better, unless you really fuck it up.
But yes, I was there to save the day with my good skill at cooking.
Probably could have used a little oregano. Very, very Mexican spice.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not used much oregano in Mexican cooking.
Yeah, in Mexican food, Spanish oregano is very, very prominent.
Now, is that different from Italian oregano?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, they are different.
Huh.
Sorry, I was just looking that up to make sure I wasn't giving the wrong information. They are a little different. The only thing else going on in my week... Yeah. Plants are fun. The only thing else going on in my week, other than WandaVision, which was just a lesson in trauma this week.
It was great.
Oof. Wrestling's still happening, because it's happening every week. And there's so much wrestling now that I want to watch that I can't keep up with it. Cannot. Been trying, hasn't been working. There's too much. I'm having to like catch like news clips and highlights, and I don't like it. I need less wrestling in my life, which is something I didn't think I'd say before, but there's just too much.
And nobody likes to drink from the fire hose.
No. I watched Dynamite this week, and I watched Can Heat this week. Can Heat is a indie promotion, which seems to like use just queer people, or at least queer people and allies. I like it a lot. They had 2 matches. It was free. You watch it on YouTube. Canned Heat from Enjoy Wrestling, and real great. My girl's Still Life with Apricots and Pears is going to be a part of this opening tournament that they're doing for their promotion, and I'm cheering for her and her specifically, but I do like other wrestlers that are in it, so we'll see how that goes. And yes, her full wrestling name is Still Life with Apricots and Pears. It was
cool.
Used to be a part of a tag team with another wrestler named Blank, who was, their whole thing was an artist, and Still Life with Apricots and Pears was his work of art. It's very, very, very interesting gimmick. Kind of a play on Banksy. So.
Sure.
Big women's thing tomorrow happening on Bleacher Report to continue the AEW tournament, which I think they should have just put the full thing on Dynamite. Would have been better. Didn't need to see Brandon Cutler and Jake Hager have a match together on TV. That could have been relegated to dark. Anyway.
Are they assholes or something?
Huh?
Are they assholes or something?
Jake Hager is. Jake Hager's a total asshole. It's not that I don't like Brandon Cutler. I do like Brandon Cutler. It's just Jake Hager sucks. Not only is he an asshole, he's just really boring to watch. Like, Chris Jericho's an asshole. I don't like Chris Jericho as a person. He sucks. Like, I generally don't like anybody who's like, hey guys, let's like, everything's about politics now. Let's not be political. Not everything has to be political, but at the same time turns around and donates $3,000 or $30,000 to a candidate.
Wow.
An awful candidate who tried to overthrow the government.
Which one?
Trump. He donated to Trump.
Okay.
Like, Chris Jericho might not be political, but Chris Irvine is. And so, I mean, it just feels like, it's hypocrisy. But at the very, very least, Chris Jericho can wrestle and is entertaining to watch in the ring. And so, even though I don't like him at all, and I don't want good things for him, he is at least entertaining to watch in a wrestling ring. Whereas Jake Hager just sucks. He just sucks all over. He's not fun to watch. He has no talent, and it's just bad. He can't talk on a mic. He can't wrestle in a ring, and he's a shitty person. So I don't need to watch him. Don't need to watch him on the main show, ever. He's going to get featured on the main show because he's a part of a big group, but as far as wrestling goes, he sucks. So I don't need to watch Jake Hager and Brandon Cutler have a match on the main show that was basically created off the back of a 20 second interaction between Brandon Cutler and Jake Hager in the ring the week prior, where he came out to save the Bucks from a beating and failed spectacularly. So I don't need it's the whole thing. Just a lot of things that sometimes I feel like could be relegated off the main show to give women more time. But, there's going to be 2 new AEW shows happening later this year. One coming within like 2 weeks. That'll be AEW Dark Elevation, which will have commentator Tony Schiavone and Paul White. Better known as The Big Show, which I feel is like a name that's recognized.
So he's doing commentation. I thought he was going to be wrestling.
Oh, he's going to be doing that too, but he's mostly there for commentary and like backstage and like mentorship and stuff.
Fun,
which is good. But yeah, I feel like The Big Show's a big enough name in wrestling that even people who don't watch wrestling are like, "Oh, The Big Show," because he's a big person, like not just in stature, just in like popularity. Andre the Giant's son,
Yeah.
He's got a lot going in just like his name that you're like, oh yeah. So we'll see. He's gonna be on the show this week, and I imagine that Jim Ross is gonna fuck up and call him The Big Show on live TV, which will be just stellar.
Because that seems to be a character. That's not like his name.
His name's Paul.
Yeah.
But Jim Ross, legendary commentator, was in the WWE for years. And he's just getting older. He gets confused sometimes. I think he just needs to be relegated to the back of like a talent relations or, just purely doing interviews because he's great at interviews. Not great at announcing anymore. I mean, there's a nostalgic part of my brain that likes to hear him, and when he's doing good, he's doing great. But when he fucks up, he really messes up. He messes up bad, real bad. And like a couple weeks ago, he called Kenny Omega the WWE champion, which pretty small slip up. When you consider where he worked forever. But there's also just little things he does, like whenever Riho is in the ring, he has to talk about her weight because she weighs under 100 pounds, supposedly. Don't need it. Just don't. Like, she's 98 pounds. I get it. Maybe say it once as she's like entering the ring, but don't bring it up multiple times during her match. Don't call her the 98 pounder while she's wrestling. That's stupid. I hate that. I hate that so much. There's just other things he's done that we don't really have to get into like the history of. So yeah. Also, Tully Blanchard's getting in the ring this week, and he is old as dirt. That man, he hasn't been in a wrestling ring for 30 years. He's old as dirt, and I'm worried about his fragile bird bones. Maybe don't. Don't put him in a ring, but he's going to be. I imagine he's not doing very much in the ring because of his age, because he's been outside of a wrestling ring for so long. I imagine he's not going to be doing much, but we'll see. I hope not. I hope deep down in my heart he doesn't do a whole lot, but yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. And Shaq's wrestling this week. I couldn't think of anything I want less. I'm not very happy about this week's episode of Dynamite that's coming up.
Yeah. Let's see. Magic players have a popular Magic the Gathering YouTube person has started a donation drive for the Trans Lifeline.
Oh, cool! Very cool.
And it was the donation drive was running about 2 days, and people initially it was just for 2 boxes of Magic cards, but people have been submitting donating prizes since like Thursday, and they have raised a lot of money for the Trans Lifeline.
Well, that's great. Glad to hear it.
6 digits.
6 digits is great. Love to see it.
At present, it's 209,000.
Nice. You love to see it. You really, really do.
Yeah, the Magic community, it has a lot of issues, and there's definitely jerks, but for the most part, they're good people.
The one jerk I can really think of isn't even allowed to show up at like tournaments anymore. So
yeah, I actually did donate a prize myself. I donated
oh my god, yeah,
a kind of a special promotional card that was sitting in a cabinet doing nothing for me because it wasn't really good for any of my decks.
Right.
So I submitted it. It's worth like $200 just to sell, but like if I tried to sell it at a store, I'd probably only get like $100 store credit. So it's better. It's better off going to a good cause.
Right.
I did buy a couple raffle tickets though. I bought like two $4 raffle tickets.
Yeah. By the way, that oh my god thing that I kind of said while you were talking, for the listener who could hear that, that wasn't about Dr. C. Monster's story and talking about magic. I actually like hearing that. It was because somebody liked my question post, even though I'm on record of saying that likes are great, questions are better. Like I might stop just asking questions altogether. I'm that frustrated with the situation there. We'll see. Probably not. I'll probably keep asking questions. But okay. Sorry about that. Weird topic. Not your topic, my topic. Well, I'm glad somebody is raising money for Trans Lifeline. Not that people don't regularly. It's good when anybody does it. Definitely support that. 100%. Yeah. Very, very cool. Very good. Do you want to talk about this anime? I feel like we're putting it off.
I just had a lot of side topics today, and I do have some stuff to say about this
episode.
I have like 3 entire rants.
Oh boy. So we watched episode 2 of When Supernatural Battles Became Commonplace, title Misconception. And let's get into it. I can't say okay. I still like the characters of this anime so far. I just feel like episode 1 gave us a lot of good setup, and I feel like episode 2 is not following through on that setup. If that makes sense.
Yeah, if you want my summation of the episode, it's not really a bad episode, but it doesn't seem to match up with what the first episode promised.
Yeah.
But I mostly enjoyed it because I like the characters, and I still want to see where the show is going with everything. But we'll get into it as we go over the recap. Right.
So, we open on the literature club. They're inside the literature club, and they're going to go over nicknames for themselves, which is what Ando has decided on doing. Because he's the Chunni. He's like, yeah. Everybody, listen up. What matters most is your own feelings, and nicknames and aliases don't have any rules. Just you're free to choose whatever you like. Just pick from the heart. Hold on, let me pull up my characters here. Sheesh. I'm really bad at remembering character names. Tomoyo.
The Chunni is Ando.
I know that Ando is the Chunni because he has like the most out of all the names. His is like the most out of place.
Yeah.
So Tomoyo, she is like not interested in this at all. She hates this. And he's like, "Hey, wait a minute. Why aren't you interested in doing this?" She's like, "No, I'm not. I don't want to do this. Nobody wants to do this. We're only doing this because you tricked Chifiru into wanting to do this. You tempted her and you put us in a bad situation where we could not say no to doing this." And he's like, "Yeah, but regardless of my methods, It's been decided, and what's decided is decided. So if you're gonna do something, you should give it your all. And everybody's like, hey. In any case, it looks like Chihiro-chan's having fun. She's like, yeah, this is fun. Even Sayumi is like, yeah, once you like get working on it, it's actually okay. And Tomoyo's like, fine, you know what? Arguing isn't gonna get me anywhere, so I will participate in this whole situation. It's like, all right, so let's see what everybody's got going. Hakoda, what do you got going on? And she's like, I have very great confidence in this one. Ta-da! Red Hokkaido. And he's like, yeah, that works. When you think about like Sentai and stuff, that's very common to do. But it's just like, yours is really straightforward and it's no good. She's like, okay, what about Blue Hokkaido? Oh, I'm mispronouncing her name. It's Hatoko. Anyway. She's like, what about blue? Yellow, white, green, pink, gold, brown, ultramarine, light green. And he's like, no, this sucks. He's like, what are you using? A colored pencil? She's like, that joke doesn't make any sense. He's like, what, are you strict on jokes? She's like, oh, wait, that's really great. How about play along straight man Hakoda? And he's like, I don't think you could pull off the straight man guy. She's like, no, I totally can do that. So that's me. I'm the play along straight man Hatoko. And he's like, why not? You're enjoying it, so okay. So he turns to, like, this part of the episode's fantastic.
Yeah.
He turns to Sayumi. He's like, oh, it looks like you're also down. What'd you come up with? She's like, I'm not very confident, but... And she pulls up... She turns her page around. It says, Kano Yukihime, which is Powdered Snow Princess. And he's like, oh, I get that. It's a play on your words. Oh, this is so great. She's like, you know, or I could just go with Shira Yukihime, which is Snow White. And he's like, oh, so your pattern is applying different readings of the kanji. That's really great. She goes through like a whole bunch of different ones, like Sleeping Beauty, Iron Maiden. Although that one might fit Chihiro-chan more than her, is what she says. He's like, yeah, true. War Diva is like, wow, these are all really great. She's like, oh, thank you. He's like, I'm impressed that you've already mastered the main points of this. He's like, by the way, you seem really mature, so I thought you would go with terms like witch or queen. But surprisingly, you picked all cute ones, which causes her to blush ferociously. And she's like, cute? She's like, yeah. But are you the type that likes princesses and such? And she has to leave the club in a very, like, strong manner. He's like, what'd I do? And they're like, you fucked up. He's like, what'd I do? They're like, nope, you just fucked up. You don't need to know. I'm like, okay. This is when Chihiro-chan gets his attention. And she's like, I'm done too. He's like, oh, yes. Next is Chihiro-chan. What you got? And she says, Mikan, which is strawberry. And he's like, he's like, I don't think that's good. She's like, what? But you said we were free to choose. And she's like giving him very sad, watery eyes. And he's like, oh no. He's like, yep, you certainly are free to choose. You'd be free. Mikan is great. And so the next one is Mikan, which is strawberry daifuku. He's like, you just said it twice. She's like, yeah, I'm imitating your dark and dark. He's like, oh, okay. But do you have any other ideas other than Mikan? And she pulls out the way the kanji is written is it's father, but it's also mother. It's a very weird, hard joke to get.
Yeah, one thing I can say about this section is that so like this whole area is fun, but it relies a lot on written wordplay that doesn't translate well at all.
Yeah.
So if you don't know much about written language in Japan, characters for words and sounds are all context dependent,
mm-hmm.
and they vary in the meaning depending on what other characters they're paired with or what accent marks are used.
Yeah, which
and
is sorry.
What?
Go ahead.
And the comedy of this whole part at the beginning with the code names and power names. It's all about like homophones and synonyms, and none of it can really be translated into English.
Yeah,
It's still funny.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, which is like this is setting up, like how letters and kanji match up in words. This is setting up basically the fuck, I had it.
Exciting incident.
Yeah, it's setting up the incident for this episode.
Yeah, it's still funny because the way the characters are interacting, but a lot of the humor is literally lost in translation.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of a big issue about like translating dubbing anime. A lot of Japanese humor uses puns and wordplay, and we all know that anime and Japanese media have a reputation of being like wacky, full of non sequiturs and randomness. But a big part of the reason that we in the West have that perception is because of things that are either A, wordplay that doesn't translate, or B, Japanese cultural references that we don't have context for.
Right.
This isn't to say anime has no intentionally wacky humor. It does.
It does.
One of my favorite anime ever is Excel Saga. And that has a ton of random humor. But it's more about our perception of things is highly skewed.
Yeah. So, continuing on with Chihiro Fu-chan's aliases, she's got Demon Lady, which also is former mother. And Ando's like, what happened between you and your mother in the past? Then she's got Adulterer, which is father late getting home. And he's like, no, I'm sure that's not true. He just ran home from work late. She's got Homeworker, which is father's friend at work. He's like, no, she's just a coworker. You have to trust your father. It's like, that's enough ideas with the family names. Let's pick the one you like the most. She's like, okay, this one, Pineapple, which is sweet and sour pork. She's like, I love pineapple and sweet and sour pork. It's very good. It's like the best. He's like, oh, right. She's like, so from now on, call me Pineapple. He's like, yeah, sure. Sayumi-chan walks into this dread situation, and we are immediately cut over to Tomoyo's like, okay, I got one. He's like, yeah, just give it to me. She picks Endless Paradox, which is written out as Paradox Witch who sneers at Twilight. And he's just like, oh, this is the best. This is the greatest. Oh my God. Oh, I love this. And she's like, I'm just trying to think of something good, okay? I used your lecture as reference to come up with a Chunni one that you might like. That's all. And he's just super impressed all the time. He's like, you win. She's like, what? She's like, I have nothing left to teach you. You have my blessing. She's like, I don't need your blessing. He's like, master. He's like, don't call me master. Seisho, which is still master. But she's like, no, don't change it. And everybody gives her a round of applause for winning this situation. This is when Kudo-san walks in, the student council president from last episode. And she's like, hey, you guys are being as loud as ever. I can hear you from all the way outside. Tone it down a little. And they're like, did you come here just to warn us about our volume level? And she's like, no. I have business with Ando. He's like, what? What'd I do? He's like, allow me to answer your letter. To answer your love letter here and now. And everybody's like, what? Love letter? Even Ando is like confused. Nobody knows what's going on. But Kudo's like, I love you too. Let's go out. And everybody's like, what? Ando does not know what's going on. He's like, what do you mean by that? The atmosphere of the other people in this club, the girls in this club, is one of anger. They're all very upset. And she's like, no, look, I'll say it again, even though it's slightly embarrassing. I love you too. Let's go out. And everybody's just like, woo. Tomoyo jumps in. She's like, you cannot You cannot date Ando. This is super sudden. And why would you confess to this idiot? What are you even thinking? And Kudo's like, are you jealous? Are you in love with Ando? Is that what's going on here? She's like, oh, I could not think of anything I hate more. I would rather be a lesbian and then fall in love with fucking Ando. That's fucking bullshit. Which is not a great line, in my opinion, but you know, I get what she's going for here. But Kudo's like, fine, if you're not in love with him, you don't have any right to fucking complain, now do you? Outsiders should butt out. And she immediately, Tomoyo jumps over to Ando and starts shaking him. She's like, what the fuck is going on? Kudo said something about you writing a love letter, but don't tell me you actually did it. He's like, no, I don't know what's going on either. I don't understand. And she's like, why are you lying? I found your letter in my shoe locker. And he's getting shaken more by Tomoyo. Who's like, you did write a love letter. It was a love letter. He's like, no, it was not a love letter. I didn't do that. And she's like, well, how are you saying that this is not a love letter? And everybody turns around to look at the letter, and she reads it. She says, Kudo Mire Dono. In our last battle, I tasted more than enough of your power. Thy power has pierced my heart. Therefore, I bestow the sinful title upon the grateful lover. Signed, the Conqueror of Chaos, Gutaya Sin Jirai, a.k.a. Ando Jirai. And they're just looking at this, and Tomoyo's like, okay, Ando, I think I get what you were going for here, but what did you mean by this? And he's like, I was trying to let Kudo-san know by letter that I devised a name for her power. She's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Kudo-san, how did you interpret this letter? She's like, how? No matter how you read it, this is a love letter. Obviously, the wording's a little weird, but if you analyze it one line at a time, it can be read, please go out with me. I fell in love with you at first sight. Thy power has pierced thine heart. It's brilliant. It's such a straightforward expression of love. And grateful lover written in the kanji for greed, he calls me lover as in the one he loves. And she continues to go on about the letter as we zoom in on Ando and Tomoyo. She's like, I don't see, this is what I don't get, Ando. I can understand the green part, but why did you make the reading grateful lover? Why someone in love? He's like, no, that's not it. That's not lover or someone in love. It's robber, someone who steals. She's like, why not use a normal term like hunter or thief? Why give her such a confusing power name? He's like, well, I had a good reason. Anyway, now we know why this happened, so we should correct Kudo-san's misunderstanding. He turns to her, he's like, hey. And she's like, oh, yes? You don't have to address me so formally anymore. You just call me by my first name, which, as anybody who's watched any anime for any length of time, you know that first names are like a big, like, personal thing. Like, that is like, normally it's not, just for anybody. Only really super duper close friends and people you're dating or married to or related to. Those are the people who get to use first names in Japanese culture. Or at least I've been led to believe. Nobody's ever corrected me on that.
It's just a level of like personal intimacy, not necessarily romantic intimacy, but just interpersonal intimacy that is just not for casual acquaintances.
Right. Exactly. But she's like, you can just call me Mirai, and he loses it. She like starts like wiggling her shoulders as she gets closer to him. She's like, in fact, you have to call me Mirai. He's like, and she's like, and I'm going to call you darling. Is that okay? He's like, darling. Someone was like, Otoko, say something. Come on, stop this from happening. And she's like, since the student council presidents took the time to visit us, I thought I'd brew some delicious tea. And she is pouring tea all over the place. This is when Shifuru-chan jumps in, and this is probably the worst part of this episode. I would have to say, if I have to think about it real hard, this is the worst part of the episode. She jumps in screaming no over and over again that Kudo-san cannot steal Ando. And she's like, you're Satomi Sensei's niece? What are you? She's like, I won't hand over Ando. And it's a whole thing. And she's just talking over Kudo-san. She's like, no means no. You can't have Ando. Kudo-san's like, this is confusing. To which Tomoyo grabs her attention. She's like, hey, please consider this again with like a clear mind. If you start dating a person with a dark past like this, you're going to waste your entire youth. And she's like, you've been arguing with me since the very beginning. Are you regarding me as an enemy because my breasts are bigger? This is I hate this.
Yeah. Like, the wordplay humor was good, but like the rest of the humor in the episode is like mostly bog standard, crush jokes and like a few flat chest jokes.
Yeah.
It's pretty bland. And like based on this and like some of the next following scenes, I'm afraid the prediction of a harem plot is unfortunately correct.
I don't want a harem anime. It's had such
I don't
miss.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I don't really watch harem anime anymore. Like I haven't like watched an entire one in like over 10 years.
I will still watch Tenchi because it's good. But
like I haven't even watched Monster Musume beyond like the first 2 episodes.
That was just like way too horny for me to watch in good conscience.
I think I kind of grew out of it.
Fair enough. But she does say, do you regard me as an enemy because my breasts are bigger? To which Tomoyo's like, she's like, in that case, I can only say that you're too shallow. Does a woman's caliber grow smaller with her breast size? She's like, why are we going with this? She's like, from what I can see, yours are small, even among the literature club's small-breasted members. Although they're larger than Chifuro-chan's, but just barely. And it's important to mention that Chifuro-chan is a grade schooler, and I don't like this.
No, I don't like it either.
Tomoyo looks totally crushed. Kudo goes on to say, I don't know how having small breasts feels, but don't let it bother you. Which is just like a terrible blow to Tomoyo. Like, she's just absolutely fucking crushed. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna end this right now. I'm gonna like seal you in time for all eternity. You're gonna as she goes to use her powers, but Kudo immediately steals them. She's like, you were careless. Your power to stop time now belongs to me. And she's like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Ando's like, hey, could you please return that to her? The closed clock is a power that belongs with Tomoyo, so could you please just do that? She's like, you call me Kudo-san, and she's like, oh, I mean, Mirai, could you please do that for me? She's like, oh yeah, if you say to do so, I will. And she does it immediately. She looks down at Tomoyo with like this look of contempt that is like, goodness, you should probably be really grateful to the generosity of Ando here, because if he hadn't said to do it, I wouldn't be doing it. And then they like have like a slap fight. Like a chibi slap fight. It's very, 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 it's funny, but it's good. This part is good.
Yeah. This episode is such a mixed bag.
It is. Sumi says, this is a rather amusing, troubling situation. And we cut to commercial. We cut back from commercial. And we cut on to Kudo-san standing outside of a classroom. She's looking smug. Smug.
Yeah.
And everybody walking by is like, what's the student council president doing here? Did something happen? What's going on? But she's just waiting for Ando to get out of class. And she surprises him straight up. He's like shocked to see her. She's like, I came to visit. Are you heading to your club? I'm going to walk you to your club. I thought maybe we could start walking home together, but I do have student council responsibilities, so I don't think that's possible to do today, but we should definitely start doing that. But I can definitely walk you to your club today, so let's do that. He's like, okay, I'll just be going. She's like, right, let's go to the literature club together. I'll drop you off. And it's everybody watching them was very confused. And Anda's like, wait, you don't have to like drop me off. Won't that just be like extra work for you? She's like, I want to spend as much time with you together as we can. Isn't that normal? And he's like, I mean, yeah, that is kind of normal. And she's like, great. And she just grabs his arm and rushes off with him. She's like, oh, wait, before I forget, can you please give me your email address? I meant to get it yesterday, but there were so many distractions in the club that I just didn't have time to ask. He's like, oh, sure. She's like, this is my address. And she shows it and it says, Mirai Jirai Forever Love. And he's like, oh no. She's like, I was just thinking about you so much last night that I couldn't sleep. And so I changed it. And yes.
Kudo is thirsty as fuck and kind of an asshole.
She is. Hey, one second, I'm going to pause.
Oh, sure. You appreciate Kudo. I really do like characters who are very upfront and clear with their emotions.
Yeah.
Like Tsunderes really make me uncomfortable.
But she is kind of a tsundere. A little. No, she's more she's got more yandere qualities.
Yeah. Because the thing is, with Tsunderes, it feels like they're playing some kind of like mind game, and it seems really sadistic to me.
I see.
It's like this weird passive aggressive abuse, and I really hate that. It really makes me uncomfortable. It really bugs me.
That's fair enough. So she mistakes Ando's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that face, for being so happy that he's speechless. And she taps her phone to his phone, which is that still a feature that phones can do?
Okay, but this anime is from like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
well, not 10, like 7 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering, like, is that still like a thing phones do?
I've seen ads for it as recently as maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. But she just taps her phone to his and instantly gets his information, which is something that phones, at the very least, used to do. I do not know if they still do that. Seems handy, so maybe. I don't know. And she's like, she's very happy. She's just very happy about getting his information. She drops him off at the literature club, and she says, I know there's lots of cute girls in the literature club, but you mustn't cheat, okay? He's like, right. The animation for this scene, really great. Very flowing. I love it a lot.
Yeah.
Like the way, I don't like the situation at all, but the animation for it, so good. Like, she's very fluid, and it's amazing to me. She's like, okay, I'll see you later. I'll email you tonight. And she's just like skating away. It's very good. And he's like, oh man, what am I going to do? All the literature club members are watching this. And he turns around just in time to watch them slam the door. And he gets inside just as they jump into their various places. And he's like, hey everybody, what's going on? They're like, nothing. And he's like, Tomoyo, did something happen? She's like, who knows? Why don't you ask yourself? He's like, hey, other me, can you tell me what's going on? Answer me, what am I really? And she's like, who told you to talk to your inner self? He's like, she's been writing jerk on the whiteboard this whole time, just over and over again. And she's like, look, you just came to our club room with Kudo-san just now. It's pretty unpleasant to watch you flirting together in public like that. It's like, we weren't flirting. She's like, she's like, and you don't even seem very displeased about all this. I mean, Kudo-san is pretty and has a nice body, doesn't she? He's like, are you jealous? She's like, no. Who would be jealous of you? Why would I have to be jealous of Kudo-san? Shut up. And he's like, no, not of Kudo-san. Of just couples in general. People who are single tend to be jealous of couples. She's like, that's what you meant? He's like, yeah, what do you think I meant? She's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't get this. He turns over to Hotoko and he's like, "Hey, can I have some tea?" She's like, "Silence." He's like, what?" And she's like, "Silent." And he's like, "Why do you keep saying silent out loud?" She's like, "I am presently ignoring Junkun, so please don't speak to me." And he's like, "But Hotoko," she's like, "No, don't speak to me. I'm politely ignoring you." And he's like, "But you can't ignore me if I don't speak to you." She's like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, ignoring someone is only possible if they speak to you first. So, like, if I don't speak to you, you can't ignore me." She's like, "Then what do I need to do to ignore you correctly?" Which is really great. He's like, "Why are you asking me? Just think it over yourself." She's like, "All right." And she walks away confused. He goes over to Shafiro-chan, who's got just like this really, she's got a face. She's got a face on. It's very indignant. He's like, are you upset too? She speaks to him through a stuffed animal. She's giving it a voice. It's a chipmunk or a squirrel. And the squirrel says, "Shifuru-han is not talking to Ansan today." So today, on behalf of Shifuru-han, Lisu will respond to Ansan. And he's like, what? He's like, the doll's like, "Just so you know, you shouldn't underestimate Shifuru-han just because she's a kid." Which is a line I hate, because I understand it. In situations in romance and anime, when somebody says you shouldn't like underestimate me, they generally are like proclaiming their feelings for the other person, or that they shouldn't be overlooked in favor of somebody else. I hate this. I hate this a lot. But it's anime, and so sometimes these things, they happen. So yeah, the doll does say that. You shouldn't underestimate her just because she's a kid. That's when Ando steals the chipmunk, and she's like, "No, give it back Lee Sin." He hands it back, and she immediately goes back into Lee Sin's voice and says, "We both know what it means for a man and a woman to..." Before she can finish that sentence, he takes it from her. And he gives it back to her. And just as she's starting to do the voice and looking away, he takes it immediately back, even as she continues to do the voice. He's like, "Shifuru-chan, you messed up. You messed up what you're doing." She's like, "No, give back Lisa." And she's like, "Hotoko, Ando's being really mean." She's like, "All right, then let's ignore him together." And she's like, "Yeah, we'll ignore him together." She's like, "That's right, just ignore him." And they turn around on him. He's like, "This is weird." So he goes to Sayumi. He's like, "Sayumi," and she says, "Die," immediately. And he's like, I was like, "Oh, my mistake. Good day." He's like, No. How does die come out as a greeting by mistake? He's like, "Oh, you're right. How rude of me. Let me try again. Why do you continue to exist?" It's like, "Oh, that hurts." He's like, this isn't like you. You're the type to, drop such easy and direct insults." It's like, "Well, it makes me want to bully you a bit. The way you act when you're trying to, like, show off your lovey-dovey mood." And he's like, "That's Kudos-san doing. It's not mine." She's like, "Yeah, I know. And we all know that. But we don't like it, and that's what it is. So you need to do something about it because this is ridiculous." She's like, "I never thought that Kudo-san would be the type to lose herself to love so easily. This is, like, silly." She's like, "So let's devise some kind of plan to, like, do away with this, because I don't think that you're the kind of person who can handle this on your own." He's like, No, that's not necessary. I'll do it. I'm the one who got myself into this mess, and I will handle it myself." Which, props to him. I mean, on the other hand, we could have saw some wacky anime hijinks to get this over and done with, but this is still good too. We cut to a scene immediately where he's like, "Hey, I'm super sorry this was not my intention. And she's like, oh, so the letter you sent me, it wasn't a love letter? He's like, no, it wasn't. Grateful Nut Lover was the name for my power, but you meant to put robber, not lover. He's like, yeah, that's right. So it was only a coincidence and not something you'd plan. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I lied because I wanted to look cool. And she's like, so then you didn't send me a letter because you wanted to go out with me. He's like, no, I did not. I'm sorry for sending a letter that made you misunderstand my intentions. And she's like, in my email address. He's like, look, I'm sorry. She's like, you know what? Just raise your head. A man shouldn't bow his head so easily. And she's like breaking down here. This is very sad to watch.
Yeah.
She tries to take all... Oh, go ahead.
It's sad, but it's not uncomfortable. So like it's more honest. It's actually really honest for what you'd expect from an anime like this.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not like cringy. I mean,
no, it's not cringy, but it is. It's honest. It's uncomfortable in its honesty. Is kind of what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But Kudo tries to take on like all the responsibility for the misunderstanding. She's like, it's my fault for misunderstanding, and I'm not even bothered or hurt by this at all. Like, so like having you apologize like this just makes it harder for me. And she's crying and shaking. It is, like I said, it's sad to watch. It's uncomfortable. She's like, from the start, I never really liked you that much either. I just thought I tried going out with you since you confessed to me. And he's like, look, I'm sorry for doing so misleading. He's like, don't apologize. It isn't as though I'm hurt at all. And she's still crying. And she's like, and so apologizing so many times makes it seem like I am hurting. So could you please stop? And she's like, oh, that's right. My curry asked me to buy the ingredients to make mother. I should hurry home. And she like walks away, bumping into stuff. And it's very sad to watch. Yeah, she's sorry, I got a message from my grandmother who was in the hospital. She's doing good. Okay. Ando watches on as she like walks away like this. He's like, I am really sorry. This is when Tomoyo walks up and she's like, you made a woman cry. It's like, well, this is for the best anyway, right? If you could let it go any longer, Kudo-san would have just added more and more to that dark past of yours, and so you were able to clear it up while the wound would still be shallow. He's like, yeah, God, I hope you're right. It's like, she's like, although you did start it all, Kudo did bring like half of this upon herself too, so you shouldn't beat yourself up for it that much. He's like, what, are you trying to cheer me up? She's like, no, I'd never. He's like, I'm not beating myself up that much. I just, as a man, feel pathetic for hurting a woman. She's like, that's beating yourself up. She's like, okay, could you please tell me why you went with such a confusing lettering for her power that she got this mistake? Why not just use hunter or thief? And he goes on to explain, I'm going to try to do my best to like paraphrase it. All the letters for all their powers basically add up to the same character count, not only just in kanji, but in katakana. Yeah. So he wanted that because he's like, for a lot of like teams and stuff, they generally have, matching kanji names, but not so in like katakana. So I wanted us to have like a deep sense of unity by having names that not only match in kanji and character count, but also in katakana, because I wanted us to feel like really close. And the reason I chose Grateful Robber for Kudo-san is because she was like all by herself. Like the five of us had each other, but she's been like living in this world all by herself. And well, I just wanted her to know that she's not alone and that she, could have friends in us. That's what I wanted. And Tomoyo's like actually very impressed with this, which, it's very like thoughtful of him. Like,
yeah, it's actually very sweet.
It's very sweet.
It's very nice sentiment.
It's very sweet, very sincere, and like it's hard to not like him in this moment. Yeah, I paraphrased it too fast because the scene's still happening.
Yeah.
But he's like, I wanted her to feel like she could, like, you know, be among us and friends, but I guess it just had the opposite effects. And she's like, and Tomato says, no, your Chunni letter may have caused some problems for her, but I think about 1/10 of your deeper feelings did come through. I think you did. I think you did good. He's like, you think so? She's like, yeah, you did. But anyway, she realizes they're like too close. She's like, if you've learned anything from this, restrain your Chunni just a little bit. Better yet, why not graduate from it? And he's like, don't call me a Chunni. No matter how much the world may change, I shall always remain myself. And she smiles at this. She's like, yeah. It's like, all right, you go, Chunni. He's like, yeah, thumbs up. We cut later to Ando lying in bed, looking at his phone, and he gets an email from Kudo-san that says, I hope we'll still be friends. Ando, I'm sorry about today, even though my misunderstanding was responsible. It was so awfully embarrassing for me, so please forgive me. That aside, I've taken the liking to the name you came up with for my power, so I'll use it from now on. Signed, Mirai.
She's changed her email to Grateful Lover.
Yeah, she changed her email to Grateful Lover. Which, cool. And that's the end of the episode.
Mixed bag. It has a lot of stuff. It has some stuff that I really liked and some stuff that I really didn't like. But I still want to see where the show goes with things, and if it can deliver on some of the promises of the first episode.
Yeah. Something kind of weird about this show, and that it features a Chunni, and I was just complaining about Chunnis, last week. In between then and now, somebody wrote an article about not letting go of your Chunni side and how it was okay to be a Chunni. It's so weird. It's so weird that just suddenly happened. So, that's the only weird thing. You said that you had several rants. Did we get through them all?
Yes.
Okay. We got no questions this week and no answers.
Okay, you know what? We did get some joke questions on Discord, and I'm going to answer them.
Did we? Please tell me.
Yes.
I didn't even look.
So what is Chunni? Which we actually said is which has actually been explained already.
Yeah, we said that a lot.
But why is Toast Mouth such a running gag that has been made into like a rubber ball gag? Have you seen those?
I've not seen running toast as a ball gag.
There's like a Toast Mouth, like there's like a ball. There's like a ball gag that is shaped like a piece of toast in your mouth.
Oh,
I've seen it.
The running toast gag is just to show, oh, I'm so late that I can't even eat a proper breakfast. I gotta go.
Yeah, and it's a really old visual gag.
Mm-hmm.
That to the point where it's just referenced and parodied often enough to where it's to where they're just referencing it as a gag.
Right.
It's one of those things that's just shorthand and a common joke.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets ingrained in things. Let's see. Second question is, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
No more.
And third is, why is Gamora? Well, I really did like Zoe Saldana's performance in the movies, and it's definitely an adaptation of a character from the comics who has a similar origin, but it's not quite the same.
So Jim Starlin, comic book writer for Marvel,
Yeah,
decided that there just wasn't enough green women in Marvel, and so he created Gamora.
yeah.
That's why Gamora.
Gamora is all green in the comics. She has like green hair too, right?
She has like green hair. The only difference is she has gold markings.
Yeah, she has like the gold eye marks.
Yeah. So I'm glad we got some questions from somewhere, even if they weren't quite what I asked. The question that we asked y'all this week, which we didn't get any answers to, was who was your first animated waifu / husbando? These are in quotation marks because it like to use them in a a serious manner embarrasses me. So my first animated quote unquote waifu would have to be, when I actually started recognizing it, would have to be Ryoko from that harem anime, Tenchi Muyo. I thought she was so great. I still love that attitude to this day. So, it really had a profound effect on me. Just in my love life and my tastes in general. Also for characters with one fang. Very good.
Are we going for characters who left an effect, who kind of left that impression on us, and we realized later in life, or the first character we first realized is oh, I'm kind of into this.
More the latter, but if you want to answer the former, go for it.
I think I'm going to say Demona from Gargoyles.
Oh, that's a good choice.
She has that character has left an impact on my life. Ruined forever. There are two characters I saw on television when I was a little kid that ruined me for life.
Mm-hmm.
It's Demona and Callisto from Xena.
Oh, not Bugs Bunny and Drag?
No.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and you can draw a straight line from those two characters to most characters I'm interested in. But yeah, I saw. Yeah, Hudson Lake and Marina Citrus ruined for life.
Fair enough. So I think that's it for this week. You know what? Still don't have a sign off. Nothing. Or no, you came up with something. That's right, you did.
Oh yeah.
But hey, where can people find you if they want to talk to you about stuff online?
I am on Twitter way too much. I am at Dr. C Monster. That is at DRC Monster. Come and find me on Twitter, where you can see me doing my best to support good charitable causes.
Yeah.
I think the donation drive ended at about 215,000 before hitting the end point.
Yeah, that's really good.
About 50 minutes, which is about 10 minutes ago.
Very cool.
Yeah. And you?
You can find me online as always at DatFirePrincess, spelled D-A-T. You can find me on the numerous podcasts I do, including one that we do on Mondays called Pining for the Falls, where it's just this, but for Gravity Falls. Next episode, things get super spooky. Before we head into the real conflict of the show, which will be great. I love the Northwest Banner episode. I think that's real good. Peak Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah,
and it's a great lead-in to A Tale of Two Stands.
It would have been one of the high points of the season if the rest of the season wasn't so good.
Yeah.
It's the only reason that it's a B for that season is because the rest of the season is just that good.
Absolutely.
And even then, it's still a B plus comparatively. But I do really enjoy that episode. It's still stand up for the entire series.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that's it. So until next time.
I'm losing control. The spirit of hellfire is trying to take over my body, and I'm being overtaken with a terrible urge to burn the entire world to ashes. My terrifying fire powers are going wild. You have to stop the recording.
Okay, well then bye.
Bye.